ready.
Hey guys, JCC2224 here, and this is a very interesting episode of Clone Corner, and one that's going to take a little while to make. Now, as you can see here, I have a very, very yellowed Clone Trooper Lieutenant. Something about Clone Lieutenants, they always seem to return in Clone Corner. I have no idea why. You know, where's the Clone Lieutenant? And the Clone Lieutenant in the intro and in the thumbnails. Anyway, Clone Lieutenants are very important to me, and this figure is the reason why. I've had this thing, I think, 13 years now? I'm trying to think. I think 13 years I've had this figure, and as you can see, he has certainly been loved and played with. I really adored this figure growing up, and I still adore it to this day. Now, yes, I should probably get a new one, or yes, I should probably try to de-yellow this one. Now, I still haven't really tried any of the de-yellowing techniques you guys have suggested to me. However, I'm still kind of worried that maybe if I try to de-yellow them, it'll remove the paint or something. I'm really worried about that. So if you guys have any de-yellowing techniques that you've tried that don't remove the factory applied paint, I would really like to know those, because I think it's time I try to restore some of my clone troopers to their former glory. This figure is just an example to show you that I have a very, very beaten up copy of this figure that I showed in a previous custom clone trooper video. Not sure if you've seen that video, but I showed that figure off, and as you can see from this footage, it was a complete disaster. Paint was worn off, it was even more yellowed than this one, it was just a lost cause. Now, I actually decided to go and make a custom out of it. Now, I haven't made the custom yet. This video is pretty much going to be a play-by-play of me making the custom, but I wanted to do a part 1 preliminary plans video, kind of giving you an idea of what I want to make with this custom. One character that I really like is Soundwave from Transformers. Now, I'm not sure if you've seen this figure. This is a G.I. Joe-ified version of Soundwave. It's a G.I. Joe Soundwave Cobra Bat made by Red Laser and someone else. I'm not exactly sure who made this, I can't remember right now. I did do a video review of it if you want to see it in more detail, but seeing a G.I. Joe-ified version of Soundwave really made me curious about a Star Wars-ified version of Soundwave. Now, I know that Hasbro not only makes Transformers, but also makes Star Wars and G.I. Joe, and the main thing that makes G.I. Joe and Transformers crossovers more possible is that they're Hasbro's own intellectual properties. But with Star Wars, it's Lucasfilm's, now Disney's intellectual property, so they can't really do a lot of intricate crossovers like this without, you know, some legal complication, I guess. And with this custom, you know, of course there's never going to be an official Clone Trooper Soundwave, but I really want to try to make one. And I do have a couple reference figures here I want to use. As you can see, this Cobra Bat Soundwave does use gray as a color, and I'm debating whether or not I should use gray and silver, like my music label Soundwave here, my favorite Soundwave figure, because it just looks a little more unique and it would stand this clone out from other clones. However, I could keep some of the white, and I could do something more along the lines of the G1 cartoon, as portrayed here by the Heroes of Cybertron Soundwave figurine that I absolutely love. Now, I'm leaning more towards doing the gray, because I think it would look a little more interesting on a clone, and kind of be a little reminiscent of the Covert Ops Troopers and Commander Gree, with how they have gray as a main kind of base color instead of white. I really do think that's interesting, and I'm thinking I'm going to go with gray. Now, you're thinking, oh, J4, are you going to customize your childhood clone that you've had for 13 years? No, like I said, I do have that beater, and I've already kind of done a little something with it. I've kind of already taken it apart. Now, I do want to show you how I've taken it apart to prep for the custom, and we'll do that now. So how I took this figure apart was pretty simple. Of course, the head here, which you can see is in terrible shape, was super easy. You just have to pop it off. Now, with the belt, I did have to do a little bit of cutting there. Now, I do believe official Clone Trooper figures actually do have belts where it has a slit in it where you can remove it if you want for an alternate belt or just for the sake of removing it. I think it was the 41st Elite Coruscant Commander and the Commander Keller, I believe, used this feature. I think a couple other clones might have as well. But I'm thinking either I'm going to re-glue it and put it back on the figure after I've painted it, or I'm going to you know, just keep it like this and just kind of have it loosely on the figure, which I think would prevent paint rub. I'm thinking that may be a good idea, but I wanted to remove this anyway because I want to fully paint the belt, and I do want to paint some of the belt components gray or silver, like Soundwave's buttons, because Soundwave does transform to a cassette player, and I do want some mild resemblance of Soundwave's cassette, you know, sort of things. Actually, before I show off the other parts that I've removed here, obviously, here is my concept sketch touch of my Soundwave Clone Trooper Custom. As you can see, I just found a picture on Google Images where it was very MS Paint friendly for me just to use the bucket tool to very, very quickly make a custom layout of my Soundwave. Now, as you can see, it's a little rough. It's a very basic outline, but I did want to have an outline and some sort of visual idea of what I wanted to do, because without it, I would probably mess up along the line, because it's probably the most complex custom I've been making, and I do want to make some other components outside of just repainting this thing, so it will be a little more involved. But this is just the repaint structure of it. You can see I want to make the visor red. I want to have the silver faceplate be represented on the clone's chin. I do want the red stripes on his arms there, and I also want to have a more armor-defined color scheme, where this part of the armor is this color, this part of the armor is that color. Hopefully that works out, but I'm really concerned with what I should do with the gray or the white. I'm leaning towards the gray because looking at this gray here really makes me like it. But one thing I'm going to have to do is certainly sand down this figure. Now, I do want to sand down the hard plastic so the paint will stick to it better, especially with the gold or mustard yellow I decided to go with for the chest there, for the outline. That'll be kind of difficult to do without sanding it down and making it a little rougher for the paint to attach better. One good thing is that the shoulder pads already have the blue hinges, so that really won't be a concern for paint rub. However, I did remove the elbows because I really want to get in there and paint the elbow pads gray. And that's going to be a little complicated if I keep the elbows on. So I'm going to show you how I popped it off. It's super easy. All you have to do is take a hairdryer, and you just have the elbow in there, you bend it so it adds more access to the actual hinge. And then you just have it on the hairdryer on the highest hot setting for, I'd say maybe 30 seconds to a minute. 30 minutes, oh my god, no, don't melt your figure. I would just make sure that it's getting all over the surface, and then just wiggle it off, and boom, it'll pop off. It's all nice and good, and then to reattach, you're going to want to reheat the peg, not the peg hole that it will go in, and then you just have the hard peg, put it in, and it'll be fine. Now, I'm going to keep this figure disassembled during the painting process. And the hands, I did the exact same thing. You know, just want to make sure that you don't break the hands because they are made out of a softer plastic and they can easily tear on these older clones. And that's pretty much the preliminary thought process on this thing. Next step is sanding this thing down, making sure it's all nice and good, and let's move on to the next part. See you later, guys.
2 years later.
Well, he's done. 2 years later, he's done. It took me a while to get around to this, okay? That's why there's no work in progress. That's why you probably will not see a work in progress custom video from me. That's because I'm a very busy person, and I don't really have the time or the means or the interest to film the entire process of making a custom action figure. It's just not what I am in the realm to do right now in my life. So, I apologize, but I figured I would still finish this video 2 years later and show you what has happened. So I finished this guy a few days ago. I actually finished the paint job quite a few months ago. But as you can see, I still wanted to do some things with him. A little further than just a paint job. I wanted to give him the shoulder cannon, the gun, and a Laserbeak. And Laserbeak, I think, is one of the coolest things here. Now, I know it's not perfect. This is not a perfect paint job. This is not, like, museum quality, freaking best thing ever. It's going to be some imperfections. I don't care. It meets my standards of quality. I'm very happy with this. I'm proud of my work. I've wanted to make a Soundwave clone trooper, and I did just that. So, maybe you're wondering, what did I use? Apple Barrel acrylic paints. You can just find that at Walmart, man. Acrylic paint. You paint it on. For the silver, I actually used a silver Sharpie, because I think silver Sharpie works really well. It came out alright. Some spots definitely better than others. I feel like the thighs could use a little bit of work with the silver, but overall, I think it's nice. I really like how it came out. It's a freaking Soundwave clone trooper. And why didn't I freaking get it? I'm wheeling to the shelf to grab it. Not even going to edit this out because I don't care. Here it is with the Cobra Bat. So you can definitely see I went for a darker blue with my Soundwave custom, because I like Soundwave being more of a dark, deep blue. And I used Admiral Blue for Soundwave here, and I'm very happy with it. I was thinking, should I get a Phase 2 helmet or just use the Phase 1 helmet? And after thinking about it, I feel like a Phase 1 helmet just kind of fits better because it's a little spikier. I think it just kind of fits Soundwave a little better. But it's not perfect. Like, I don't feel like the simulated mouth plate right there with the silver chin works perfectly, but it works well enough for me. I like it. It doesn't really fit in the Star Wars universe at all. I kind of gave that up. I was kind of thinking, oh, maybe he'll kind of fit in the Star Wars universe as like a specialized Covert Ops Legion. No, he's just straight up a Soundwave clone trooper. I was considering, should I call him Clone Wave or Sound Trooper, and I think I'm going to call him Sound Trooper because I like that a little better. I think he's awesome and great. So let's talk a little bit more about what has been done with him. So to start, Laserbeak is a little droid pack-in thing that came with a freaking Force Awakens thing. I don't even know what. I'm going to do the research. There's what it looked like before. There's who it came with. I didn't even remember when I made it. I just grabbed it from my baggie of dumb crap I didn't like, and I painted him in the Laserbeak. He's got the yellow eye. He's kind of got some silver there. He's got some black. He's got a lot of red. He's got black on the underside as well. The underside of the wings, too. I did those. I like it. Now, granted, he's going to be holding it forever, because I also had to paint the peg, and if that comes out, it's probably going to be scraped off. I like the silver on the wings. It's not perfect, but I like that. Oh, is that a paint scuff right there? Oh no, I think that's a paint scuff. I don't know how that happened. Or it could just be the silver. I honestly can't tell under all these lights. But yeah, I can always touch that up if I'm really worried about it. So there's the Laserbeak. I really like that. The shoulder cannon, I'm actually very proud of. So some of you may recognize that accessory. Some of you may not. It is this. It's this weapon that came with some figures. Is that like gunk in there? Or is that paint? I think it's paint. I took this one off of the Battlefront Jump Trooper because it's kind of that gun. But they used this in those weapons lockers that came with all those Legacy Collection figures. And I had a lot of them. And what I did, I cut it right there and right there. And you may recognize the handle because it's being used on the gun. And I think that turned out really nice. I really do like that. I feel like it evokes Soundwave's gun. I think it looks nice. I like it. And you may be thinking, oh, where'd that tip come from? Someone in the P.O. box sent me about 1,000 of these Mimbin Stormtrooper rifles. And I took it off of that. I think, was that you, Rust Belt? It might have been you, Rust Belt. I don't know. If it wasn't Rust Belt, I apologize to whoever it was. But I know he was talking about how he had 1,000 Mimbin Stormtroopers. He might have sent me the spare rifles. But you can see on the back here, I have not only the barrel of that big EMP, I think that's what it was, but I also have the stock. You can see right there. There's the stock glued right there and kind of attached right there. And I stuck it in with a push pin, which isn't perfect. I did kind of paint over it, but some of the paint might not have stuck, so the lighter blue is showing. I made sure I used a blue push pin. But that does mean that it can slightly pivot if it's not going to break. I'm worried it's going to break, so you know what? I'm not going to pivot it. It's in a good position. But yeah, I wanted that so it would kind of be at an angle and slightly pivot, but I don't know if it's going to want to do that. You can see it's kind of doing it a little bit. Oh, look at that. Is that a scrape right there? Could be a little scrape of paint. I don't know how that happened. Or it just didn't go on all the way. I'm not too concerned about it. This is my custom, and I'm happy with it. I used a light blue for the chest, and then kind of like a nougat sort of orange for the surrounding and for the knee pads, because I thought that looked nice. I like the red visor a lot. It just took some time. It took some time to paint this, to make this, and I'm happy with it. Like I said, it's not perfect, but I'm a fan. And as a comparison here it is with Soundwave himself. So you can see, as well as Laserbeak, my personal favorite Laserbeak. Yeah, I mean, he's displayed on my Soundwave shelf very proudly. That's where he stands. That's where he will always be. Now, would I articulate him? No. I personally would choose not to articulate him because, you know, this is how I always want it. He's just going to stand on the shelf and look pretty. I'm pretty happy with this custom. I'll probably showcase it again whenever I do another custom clone video. A lot of people have been asking for me to do that. And it'll happen at some point. Don't expect it anytime soonish, but it'll happen at some point. But yeah, this video has been about 2 years in the making. I'm surprised I still kept all those old files from the start of it. I figured I would just throw those in just for laughs. You know, I could have just completely scrapped that, but no, I figured, hey, I just wanted to emphasize sometimes customs take a long time for me, and here we go. I'm pretty happy with this. I might go back and touch up some of that paint. I might not be bothered. Who knows? But from earlier on in this video, I am thinking about doing that Char. I think that looked really cool. But I really want him to have the shoulder pads, the accurate shoulder pads. So we'll see. We'll see if that will happen. Because, see, I did the gun and the shoulder and Laserbeak for Soundwave. Why wouldn't I do the shoulder pads and the shield shoulder pad for the Zaku? Maybe even the command fin. Wouldn't that be cool if I, like, cut off that fin on a Phase 1 clone and, like, stuck it up differently to look like a Zaku command fin? Oh, that looks sweet. But yeah, there we go. Here's my mastermind brain at work. And here is my Sound Trooper custom. Hope you guys enjoyed taking a look at it. It's pretty cool. I like it. Who knows when I'll get around to making a custom project this ambitious anytime soon. But he stands amongst some of my favorite customs. Anyways, guys, there we go. Make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. Check my social media links, PO Box address, and frequently asked questions down in the description below. Have a good day. I will see you in the next video. Ta-ta. Adios. Goodbye.